Okay, so good morning, everyone. So much for joining me on and I have the chance as well to work and with some of our very important speakers today that I'm going to introduce to you a bit later. Make sure that you only have to family. I think some people may be still shy in a Saturday morning. What is she asking me to? Hi, Patrick. May Wing. So I actually see that some people are not even Vietnamese. Some of them might not even be in Vietnam. Okay, so we have here the chat box, right? If you have any questions, feel free to type in any question that you have, and our team going to record all the questions, and we try to get back to you as soon as possible.
Hello.
Hi. And we also have the reaction as well. In case you would like to give us a heart shape or a smiley face, feel free to do that. And just before we start, Ray, can I just ask, here in this room, we have 27 participants. Please type into the chat box if you are a student. Just say yes, so that we know who you are. And no students here? Okay. Yes, so we have a few yeses for students. Okay. Wow. Okay. All right. So, okay. The next question is, are you not from hospitality industry? Is anybody not from the industry? Just want to be here to have a feeling of how the industry is about? Okay. So I reckon that everybody here is from the industry. Okay. You said yes. I don't know what the yes or no means here now anymore. Okay. Can I ask if anybody here is a recent graduate, hospitality graduate? You just graduated from your university? Maybe you can write me instead of yes. No, I'm studying. Okay, me. Okay, so we have a few recent graduate right now, and who have worked in the industry for a long time, maybe 2 years, 3 years, 5, 10 years. I think Clay gonna type something. Okay. So the question that I asked, actually just want to have a quick understanding of our demographic, and we have some smiley face saying me, some people having worked in a long time in the industry, 15 years for Patrick. Maybe Patrick, you can be one of our speakers today as well. Okay, thank you so much, everyone. It's a good way to understand that we actually have our participants coming from different demographic, different background and experience as well. And I'm actually getting a bit nervous now that because I feel there's so many experts in the room that I'm going to share something super simple and beginning level for everybody who wants to get a feeling of the industry. I suppose that you all see my screen here. Can you just please put into a line or something in the reaction so that I know that you see my screen? Yeah, okay. All right, good. Yeah, somebody say yes, that's great. Okay, so welcome to the Hospitality 101 series that we have here. It is actually the very first webinar that I have the opportunity to work on to provide hospitality education mainly for our Australian alumni and extended network. And at the first opportunity here, what I have is to deliver the topic once of hotels. So today is a bit of hospitality with a focus in hotels, and we have also our speakers, our guest speaker, all coming from hotels and hospitality background that I'm going to introduce to you in a minute. The agenda of the day that we try to stick with is we will start first. I already done that part with the greeting and introduction. We're gonna move very quickly now into a presentation of Once a Hotel. And for this, I would like to emphasize that we are going to stick pretty much into the Vietnam and Asia Pacific context, because we do know that you might come from different backgrounds, you might have so many different knowledge and other experiences from different premises and businesses that you work for. So if there's any questions or any recommendation, please feel free to get back to us later so that we can discuss with you to improve our program, so that we can provide further education and knowledge in a general viewpoint in the following webinar that we do. We're gonna have a mini game as well, so make sure that you stick with us. It's going to be interesting enough, I hope, and there's prizes as well, so make sure that you don't miss the opportunity to join this game. The very important part of the day would be for us to invite you to join a panel discussion with live hotelier. That's supposed to be from 50 to an hour or even more. The reason that I put it at the very end is just want to give more opportunity for us, not only to listen to our speaker, but you can also ask questions as well. And my experience actually, normally this section is longer than what we expected. That's why I put into the very end, so that we can cheat a bit with the time for those who can stay longer. Okay, so what is hospitality? Can you tell us what is hospitality means to you? From the student who study here, or anybody, just do not have to be academic. Can you just type, or maybe you can even unmute to let me know what you think. What is hospitality is about?
I just want to say something that is not answering your questions, but I think a lot of people having some issue with seeing your screen, huh?
Okay, my screen?
Yeah. Also, I cannot see what you're showing anyhow.
Okay. Let me check. Maybe what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna share it, and then I'm gonna share it. Okay, can you see it now?
Yes, it's work now.
Okay, all right. So can I please have just maybe one or two answers? What do you think? What is hospitality is about? Okay, the chat box is saying, I think hospitality is a warm and kindness you show to people around you, even strangers. Okay, good. Okay. Okay. All right. So that is actually something that gave us a really good start from you. Thank you so much for your answer. And just like you say, hospitality is actually something that we see. Hospitality was an ancient term to express the idea of creating the friendly and cozy experience for guests. Yes, that is also very true. So just for me, every time I think of hospitality, I often think of my first time experience to something. For example, first time travel to Australia, which was what I did, or first time moving to a new house and meet with my new neighbors. I'm not sure if somebody can share the experience. First time meet the parents. If you watch this movie, I thought this is one of a good example of knowing what hospitality is about. Or during COVID time, what do you do? You actually give food to your friend or your neighbor, things like that are the things that got to do with what we call today is hospitality. And when we receive that sort of warm kindness and we thank them for their hospitality. And some people say hospitality is an ancient word, right? I don't even know because I don't speak Greek, but I do have the definition here saying that hospitality is something that you think the friendly and generous reception and entertainment of guests, visitors, or strangers. The word strangers is actually very important, right? They are such strangers to us, but they still feel welcome and they still feel warm when you're around. And the Latin words, I don't know if I pronounce this right, it says host, and the meaning is both visitors, strangers, hospitality, and as mentioned, it had its roots in the ancient history. It's something that you have a feeling that you are feeling welcome when you go to somewhere from the host. That's what we actually see in a lot in the hotel context. Okay, so what is the hospitality today is about? For those who work in the industry, what do you think would be what we have in the hospitality today? Somebody's turn out the mic. Hi, Tom. Tom, you are mute.
Yes, hi.
Okay, maybe she's not saying anything. That okay, so in the hospitality day I have in the chat box, right? May you rephrase your question? Sorry, I lost it. What my question is actually, do you know what type of businesses that you can find in the hospitality industry? And the other word is what's in the hospitality today? What can you see? When you work in the hospitality industry, where do you work? Okay, hotel resort, hotel restaurants. Hotel, restaurant, resort. So I heard a lot. Hotels, restaurant here, food, beverage, service, flights, cruises. Yes, from Patrick, thank you. Airline industry, airline, restaurant, unlimited smiling now. Real estate, yes, why not? Okay, all right, thank you. Events, yes. Okay, 5 more seconds until we can have our slides continue. Okay, all right. AHA, okay, thank you. All right, the AHA is also trying to give you a sense of hospitality as well in what we do to support our Australian alumni. But just like you said, you cover most of the part. We do have a huge presence in hotel, resort, and lodging industry. So accommodation is very important. Aviation is also a very important part that many of you actually mentioned airlines. We play a very important role in the tourism industry. And then restaurant, bar, club, even co-working spaces. For example, those you see these days with WeWork or Regus, or even in Vietnam, we have Dreamwork, right? All the sort of thing, they do provide a lot of customer service, and they actually prefer to recruit a lot of people from the hospitality industry for that particular reason. We also play an important part in recreation, in events, sports, and entertainment. And some very important part as well would be on lifestyle products and services and luxury good industry as well. For some of you might not know that you can even actually study now for some courses got to do with luxury goods industry, so that you can have better understanding of all the luxury brand, so that in the future to serve all those kids who want to purchase those type of products, that you actually have the knowledge to serve them in the future. Okay, so the industry is huge. So just imagine what opportunity that we're going to have from that. Okay. So for hotel group and hotel chains, I'm sorry, all the experts that you have to hear this today, but this is something that we want to emphasize so that all our students understand as well. Okay, so I just want to have a question, right? When you work in the hotel industry, do you feel confused because there are so many hotels and you don't know which is which? For example, when you see Sofitel, Crowne Plaza, Intercontinental, do you know about them? Do you know how to differentiate one from another? What is the difference between hotel group and hotel chains?
Yeah, what is the difference between hotel group and hotel chain? Bà hỏi là what is the difference between hotel group and hotel chain? Không, chain, C-H-A-I-N.
Or hotel brands. Okay, some of you are actually have your speaker on. You feel free to speak.
Không, tự nhiên thấy trả lời.
Jasmine? Okay, that's why, okay, several hotels can be managed by a group that is from you. For example, Sofitel is managed by Accor. Okay, that is a great example. Very quickly, so hotel group here is different, is that have multiple subsidiary brands and allowing the hotel to go, differ their services, product, and prices offer with what the hotel differ in characteristics. So basically, a hotel group, the name itself actually tell us a lot of things. It's a group of different hotel, different brand. Huang actually think, oh, I think it's not so different. Okay, so the hotel chain is a hotel that is part of a hotel chain is known as a chain hotel. For example, very similar to the example that he was giving us. For example, here, the Sofitel Saigon Plaza is a chain hotel of the Sofitel Hotel and Resort. So Sofitel Hotel and Resort is a hotel chain. For which the Sofitel Saigon Plaza is a chain hotel and Accor is a hotel group. Okay, so Sofitel Hotel and Resorts is a part of the Accor hotel group. The next information that I want to discuss with you here as well is some of the popular, thank you, Peter, some of the popular hotel groups in the world here that we see. Okay, here we're talking about the group of hotels. Okay, so in Vietnam as well as in Asia Pacific, we actually see a lot those who keep mentioning the Marriott International, Accor, the IHG Hotel and Resorts, Hilton, Rosewood, Hyatt, Shangri-La, and over the past few years in Vietnam, we also see Wyndham Hotel and Resorts entering Vietnam. The Radisson Group also happen to have their presence here in Vietnam and Asia Pacific. We also have the Best Western, and Choice Hotel is one of the largest hotel operator in the world, but it's not so popular in Vietnam. It's also a US chain, but some of the names, for example, Marriott, Accor, IHG, Hilton, Hyatt, for example, are all the major names, and then some of other as well that I have on the screen. Okay, and it's very important that we know about this hotel group, hotel brand, because sometimes some of the brand could be very luxury, but they are not part of this type group. So it can be quite complex at some point. In here as well, we have the top, excuse me for the typo here, top luxury hotel and resort group in the world. You can also know some of the name, for example, Four Seasons, Mandarin Oriental Hotels Group, the Peninsula, and Aman. And I think maybe 2 out of 4 here already have their presence in Vietnam. So we have the Four Seasons in Hoi An already, the Nam Hai, right? And we have one coming up in Hanoi very soon. We also have Amanoi, a very beautiful resort and top luxury here in Vietnam in Vinh Hy. The Mandarin Oriental is actually in construction right now in Ho Chi Minh City, that we hope soon we're going to have one Mandarin Oriental in the city center, and we haven't got any peninsula yet, but that is some of the top luxury hotel group that you might want to know. Other popular local hotel group in Vietnam that we want to mention here in today's webinar, we heard a lot about the Vinpearl. So Vinpearl is actually the Vietnam's largest hotel operator in terms of their 5-star portfolio for a local hotel brand. I think there's more than 40 hotels in Vietnam that you can find. A very unique hotel group in Vietnam that I don't actually think they have any competitors, because they are just so good in what they do and serving their typical type customer. We also know Fusion Group, as well that today we are very lucky to have one of our speakers going to represent the Fusion Group that's going to give you an introduction later for a top luxury hotel group with very much of a focus on wellness in recent years that we have seen here in Vietnam, maybe 10 years since I come back from Australia to Vietnam, that I start to know about the Fusion already. And another more economical skills for Vietnamese as well. You may know about Mường Thanh Hospitality. In terms of number of hotels, they also have very, I think quite a few, maybe about 20, 30 hotels in different provinces in Vietnam as well. So in case you don't have any, I mean, understanding about the hotel, but the word Mường Thanh also can help you a lot when you travel to a new places and you don't know which hotel to stay. So this could be one of the very good options. I have an opportunity to stay in this hotel maybe when I travel to Vung city in Nghệ An, and I don't know where to stay. So the familiar name actually helped me a lot to help me find accommodation. Okay, so apart from all those giant hotel group, sometimes you might be able to spot some independent hotel group as well that they might not have in their portfolio 5,000, 10,000 hotel like the giant Accor or Intercon or Marriott, but they also have a portfolio maybe 50, 70 something, and they want to create an alliance so that they can combine together, they can be as big as all the big one. So one of those alliance that I want to introduce to you is called the Global Hotel Alliance, or the short name is the GHA. In here, you might be able to see some of the brand that could be familiar to you in Vietnam. For example, we have the Anantara Hotel and Resorts and Spa here in Vietnam. We also have the Pan Pacific, for example, is the founder, one of the co-founder of GHA. That we have present in Hanoi, Ho Chi Minh City, and the Camellia in Hanoi, so-called what people say a 6-star hotel opposite to the Sofitel Metropole, also start to have their presence more and more. We used to have Omni Hotel as well. So some of the name, right, might sound familiar to you, and sometimes you don't know where they belong to. First of all, they have their own hotel group in a smaller scales in terms of number of property, but they actually join a larger alliance. So what we have here today is the Global Hotel Alliance, and some of the program as well that you might heard. For example, the leading hotel of the world. It is a group of more than 400 hotels in 80 countries. What they do is they actually recruit different luxury hotels. What they find either very an independent luxury or uncommon luxury hotels. In Vietnam, we only have the Reverie Saigon here in Ho Chi Minh City, joined into the list of the leading hotel. So his own independent hotel joining make it to the list of the leading hotel in the world. Okay, so here, just very quickly, all this information is so easy to find. Just for your information, I actually just go to the website and screenshot. But for us, just to name a few of what is it about for Accor hotels. So there's so many brands under Accor, and probably Accor is the largest international hotel management company now, have their presence in Vietnam, and in Asia Pacific. I think Accor in Vietnam is only number 2 after Thailand. We have roughly 40 properties right now in Vietnam, and some of the common brands that we have here are Sofitel, Pullman, we have Movenpick, we have Grand Mercure, Novotel, we have Ibis, we have M Gallery, right? So that's a lot already. This is a very big hotel group that we know. I still remember in 2012 when, no, not 2000, maybe 10 or 11, when I was in Australia, and this giant group actually start to acquire some of the famous Australian hotel group, including Mantra, and some hotels like City Gate, from what I remember. Maybe Clay can correct me later. all I remember is one day when we wake up, every hotels under those group become either a Pullman or a Novotel. Like all the city gate hotel becomes a Novotel, and other hotel become converting into Accor hotel, just to see how much and how fast the Accor group actually developing in the Asia Pacific context, and we see more and more Accor hotel. It's hard not to see Accor hotel when we travel in Asia Pacific. Marriott International has become also one of the world's largest hotel group. Maybe it's the largest by now, because in 2015 they also acquired Starwood Hotel Group, and with all the portfolio that they have right now, you might see the Ritz-Carlton, St. Regis before from Starwood, now is part of Marriott International, and the Jerry Marriott is a very famous brand here in Vietnam. When we have the Jerry Marriott Hanoi, maybe in Da Nang, and Phu Quoc as well, and other brands that you might still be able to see in Vietnam, including the Le Méridien Renaissance Hotel, and other brands that you can see here on the screen of 4 Points by Sheraton here in Da Nang. We also have some Sheraton. We also have other brands. Any other that I do not mention? Probably, yeah, probably enough for Vietnam from what we have. Okay, IHG Hotel and Resorts is also a very large hotel company. The origin is actually from the UK. When I first studied, I thought it's a US company, but it's actually from the United Kingdom. The common brand that we see also, the flagship brand for IHG is the Intercontinental Hotels Group. But recently we also have seen more and more brands with their presence here in Vietnam. After the Intercontinental, we see the Crowne Plaza that also have their presence here in Vietnam. We also have the Holiday Inn open, a very big one open in Saigon near the airport. In Ho Chi Minh City, and very recent we have a new member joining in, make it into a luxury level, is the Six Senses. So Six Senses is now part of IHG, and also Region is also considered a higher brand in terms of luxury collection for IHG Group that have the new hotel, Region Phu Quoc, just opened I think few months ago. Okay, Hyatt International is one of my favorite, because I also very proud to be part of the Hyatt from 2010 to 2011, working for Hyatt Hotel Canberra. The Worlds of Hyatt consists of mostly 5-star hotel brand with a Hyatt name on it. The highest one is Park Hyatt, and then you have Grand Hyatt, Hyatt Regency, and other Hyatt's brand as well. The presence in Vietnam for Hyatt is also expanding. We start with the Park Hyatt Saigon, and then Hyatt Regency Da Nang, we start to have a new one, Hyatt Regency in Hanoi, rebranded from the Crowne Plaza Hanoi, and there are more coming as well, Phu Quoc, and other collection hotel as well. So for Hyatt, what we all like about it, every time we refer about Hyatt is, it might not be the type of hotel that get into the very top luxury like Aman or Peninsula or Marriott Oriental, but whenever the word Hyatt appear to us, we think of something consistent, 5-star standard, and a very consistent brand. Okay. A very interesting question that I want to ask you. What do you think? What makes a 5-star hotel a 5-star hotel? Maybe the expert can help me a bit as well. I know like there's so many different criteria and many different programs that give the 5-star, 6-star, 7-star. But what do you think is the thing that makes a 5-star hotel a 5-star hotel? Quiet moment. Creating personalized engagement, yes. Location, yes. I think that services, people, and the design, service infrastructures, yeah. Okay, to answer this question, right, it's quite interesting from what we know here. we have when I actually opened a hotel in central Vietnam, and we flagged as a 5-star hotel. So I just assumed that yes, my hotel is 5-star. And what happened is when we actually have to submit all our documents to Expedia, maybe some of you might know about Expedia, one of the e-commerce platform when you book hotels, so Expedia, Agoda, or Booking.com. When I submit all the information, pictures our hotel to Expedia, they actually tell us that, I'm sorry, but you are only 4-star. I'm actually in a shock. I say, oh my God, like I have everything that it takes to make me a 5-star hotel, and you're telling me that we are 4-star. They say, well, there's so many different criteria that we use to give you the star rating. And even if you give me the certificate that's showing that you're 5-star, but according to Expedia, you might not be 5-star. So I'm just trying to understand what it means by Expedia by saying 4 or 5-star. In here, there's some information that I found that they say 4-star hotel amenity include amenities such as 24-hour room service, turn-down service upon request, service, concierge services, and valet parking, for example. And 4 Diamonds Hotel have extensive amenity, while 5 Diamond hotels have amenities that provide an unmatched level of comfort. So it's something that I actually make us think a lot. So many people actually see service environment, luxury, personalized service, high-end customer service, or site grooming, personalism. So all of the things that you say here are very important. But I think the key word here that we all want to bring it up would be an unmatched experience level of comfort. Because when you stay in the intercon, you wouldn't want to say that, oh, I think it's more luxury than a Sofitel. Or when you are in the Mandarin Oriental, you might not want to see something like, oh, I think it's more luxury. Or you might not be able to tell, because they actually able to provide you an unmatched experience that you don't want to compare, because you don't know how to compare which one is more luxury than the others. So that could be, I hope it could give you a bit of sense of how you could define what it means to be 5 diamond or 5-star from different viewpoints. Okay, the next question that actually asked, because you actually helped me a lot already, some of you put into the comment box, that what make a 5-star hotel a 5-star hotel, or can we actually see by the look to tell if a hotel is 5-star? Many people say yes, we look at the staff uniform, if that is professional enough, the location of the hotel can tell a lot already. And even the name of the hotel, right? If I can have an international brand name, there's a high chance that could be 5-star. So all of these together that we can actually combine them. I say, yes, you can, even if you are not having in front of you a criteria of, yes, I have all the criteria to tell you this is a 5-star. So here I said, yes, you can, maybe 99% of the time, if the hotel actually gives you a sophisticated mix of sensory feelings, you step into the hotel and you feel, oh my God, it's just something that's so expensive. Like it actually does have an expensive look. The smell, the aircon is nice, the gesture from the guests, elegant smell that actually already give you a feeling that give something to a luxury sense. And normally they are a large building or project in an ideal location. So whoever's saying that location, yes, thank you very much, in an ideal location that either give you a very centric, like in the central of the city, or a very breathtaking view to the ocean, for example, for a resort that could make you of an element to be 5-star. The hotel is normally should have over 200 rooms and above. At least should have a spa or swimming pool. For a standard city 5-star hotel, you should at least have 4 food and beverage outlets with 2 restaurants, maybe 1 on-day dining, 1 fine dining, 1 lobby bar, and 1 rooftop bar, for example. So minimum 4 food and beverage outlets. The hotel has an executive lounge for VIP guests to relax and work for different purposes. And the hotel should have at least one meeting room that can host minimum 200 people. So here's a few elements that I hope it can help you in the future when you walk into a hotel, and you would be able to tell if yes, it is maybe it's 4-star, 4-star plus, or 5-star. And some of my favorite hotel that I really want to make it someday, maybe after COVID, is to visit the Park Hyatt Tokyo. That was used to be the venue to film the movie Lost in Translation. I just like just take me away by seeing the view of Tokyo from the movie. So I really hope that one of my wish lists is to make it someday to the Park Hyatt Tokyo when all it is on over. Okay, here's a key example of some luxury hotel chains that you can see in Vietnam, Asia Pacific, or maybe all around the world as well. The Park Hyatt have a very special slogan here saying that luxury is personal. Okay, so many people these days, especially when they open hotel in Asia Pacific or in Southeast Asia context, everybody want to give them the name saying that we are 5-star, we are luxury. And sometimes I feel a bit sad that the word luxury is actually being abused a bit too much, because everybody claims to be luxury. So what is luxury? And what I like about this is when people say luxury is personal, it's just something that I just cannot agree more, because something that is luxury for you might not be luxury for me. Like you think it's luxury, but I don't think it's luxury. For me, luxury sometimes is just I just want to have some quiet time for myself, enjoy my favorite type of food. For me, that is luxury. But maybe your definition of luxury could be different. So that the Park Hyatt actually have their slogan is luxury is personal, and they have their luck list as one of their marketing campaigns as well to promote this. Another one I thought that would be the reason for many people I want to study hospitality, or especially hotels, is when they hear the motto from the Ritz-Carlton. It's actually the top brand under Marriott International, saying that we are ladies and gentlemen serving ladies and gentlemen. When I'm saying that, some people say, oh my God, here she go again, because many people might have heard of that already, because at the Ritz-Carlton, people don't call themselves an employee. And many hotel group might have different way to call the employee, ambassador, or different names. But the Ritz-Carlton, they say that they are ladies and gentlemen. So just remember that when I actually mentioned in an earlier section, that's saying for luxury sector, right? They even have a bachelor degree to train you to understand about different type of luxury goods like Louis Vuitton or Chanel or different brand, because yes, we do need to make sure that our people who serve those type of customer, they would have an equal understanding of what luxury is about in order to serve them. So if I want to serve ladies and gentlemen, for myself, I would need to develop myself as well to become lady and gentleman as well. So the second picture here, that is actually a job advertisement that actually give you an understanding, right? They don't just say job vacancy, they say join our lady and gentlemen. It's something, an example that I want to introduce to you. Another example coming from the Sofitel brand. Maybe some of you have worked in the Sofitel brand already, but this is something that I actually take it as a lesson for my life that I thought quite interesting, that there are actually 3 different brands under Sofitel. Start first with the Sofitel Legend, and then we have Sofitel Luxury, that so-called Sofitel Hotel and Resorts, and we have Sofitel Soul. Okay, in Vietnam, we have 2 of them. Sofitel Legend is our Sofitel Legend Metropole in Hanoi. In the world, there are only maybe around 10 of them. And Sofitel Legend Metropole in Hanoi, actually the first Sofitel Legend in the world, so we are very proud to have. They compare the Sofitel Legend to a very old Louis Vuitton, like what I have in the picture. While Sofitel Hotel and Resorts example is a Sofitel Saigon Plaza is compared to a standard Louis Vuitton. And the Sofitel Soul that you might be able to see in Seoul, Singapore, or Sofitel Seoul, Bangkok. That compared to a very colorful Louis Vuitton, that means what it means is it is a lifestyle brand. So it's very vibrant, young for those who like characteristic. So I hope this information is interesting for some of you. Another interesting brand that we have under Accor is a collection brand called the M Gallery. It's also one of the fastest growing brand in Vietnam. Right now we have 8 property in Vietnam. The unique thing about the M Gallery is every M Gallery actually have 2 names. So they say M Gallery Hanoi, M Gallery Hải Phòng, M Gallery Phu Quoc, right? But actually every hotel have a very unique name, and sometimes if you are not precise enough, you might not be able to tell if that's an M Gallery. For example, in Hanoi, we have the Hotel Opera, it's also an M Gallery. We have La Veranda in Phu Quoc. We have Hotel de la Coupole, and please excuse me for my pronunciation, I don't speak French. Or we have the Legacy Inn too. Every hotel actually have a unique story of the destination or a unique story linked to the hotel itself. For example, the Hotel Opera will tell you the name of the story of the Opera House in Hanoi. While the Legacy Inn too, for example, in this story, is an ancient palace of the for King Mong Trần Nhân Tông under the 13th century in Trần Dynasty in Vietnam. And the feeling, the story that they want to give you is you actually not just enter a hotel, but you're going to enter an ancient palace under the Trần Dynasty emperor, and then you get to know a lot about history and story, the life story of King Mong Trần Nhân Tông. So there's so much to learn, and right now the hotel is no longer just a hotel. There's so much for you to see and to learn. And for you, for those who are still students, right, you can just see what type of hotel characteristic that you might want to study and learn in the future. One of the concepts that we also want to introduce to you by the M Gallery as well here is inspired by her. This is one of those very common trends that we see more and more in the world, that we have to shift our focus to take care of our female traveler. So for this reason, Accor as a pioneer as well, they starting with the M Gallery hotel collection, that we come up with the ideas of inspired by her, so that for all the amenity in the hotel, we have a specific focus on the female traveler. And even from all the amenity as well, we make sure that yes, if you you would need everything, that for example makeup removal wise, hairbands and pins as well for the ladies that they might want to might need it. And also when you wear your pajama, for example, if we prepare for you, that should come with a size that fit the lady, not just all the giant one, like one size fit all, so that we'll make sure that we take care of the lady a bit better. And with this concept, we can come to many variation of services that we can offer to the lady as well. Okay, so I thought that the past 20 minutes would give you a bit understanding of hotels and what hospitality is about. And are we good by far? Are we on following? And you can all hear me by far? Are we on good? If you can give me a thumbs up or typing a yes into the chat box. Okay, thank you. All right, thank you, Patrick. Thank you, everyone, for your feedback. Are we actually ready for a bit of change right now with a mini game? Because part is part of the program right now. I just want to make it fun as well. Okay, what I want to do right now is I want you to prepare maybe your phone or your computer that I would like you to log into this website called joinmyquiz.com, and you would need to enter the join code 654158. Okay, and then once you do that, I'm just going to wait for a few more minutes. Okay, the ideas of the mini game is they might not have to be super difficult, but you have to be quick and fast. Okay, make sure you jump in. And I just want to take this moment also to tell you that the prize of the day is we have a very interesting sponsor from one of our guest speaker of the day, Miss Kristin, the Chief Happiness Officer from Pharmacity. She's sponsored 3 prizes, which is a box of VN95 face mask, and then also omega-3 fish oil, very good for your eyes, and vitamin C as well. I thought it's a very thoughtful gift of you, because this is just what we need. Whenever we need to go out, we need to take care of our eyes better, and more vitamin C as well. Okay, I'm gonna stop sharing this screen because I need to go into a live screens here. And if you can tell me if you can see the next screen here topping up, that would be great. Okay. So I have with me here, how many people already? Yeah. Okay, maybe I'm gonna wait for 1 more minute, 19 people. Let me check how many people we have in the room. Okay, maybe 30 more seconds. So we have 20 people in the room already. Okay, 21, 22. Okay, 24. 24. Okay, 15 more seconds, then I'm gonna continue. Okay, I think everybody is ready. Are we all ready? Okay, I'm gonna kickstart now. Oh my God, we're so fast. Okay. There's a big competitor here. You know, the good part about this quiz is it's actually give you a chance to redo one question. Okay, we have Justin coming up, and then Patrick, Finley. Okay. Very close. So we have Justin, Clay, Kristin, Lynn, Patrick go up on top. Hmm. Okay. Looks like we are on finished with the game, and "24 people done. One more to go." Okay, maybe one person do not play. Okay, I'm gonna end the game here so that, are you ready to see who's the winner? Okay, so we would like to congratulate our winners of the mini game today. First prize go to Justin, Kristin Lê, and Hamai. Okay, for all of those winners, please do stay in touch with us, and we gonna get back to you further to find a way to send all the gifts for you. Thank you so much for all your. Oh, I just want to check on those questions that have. What is the question? Why is everybody get wrong on question 3 and 6? 3 is the room have the answer is pull out couch. That actually another words for sofa bed. Yes, Kristin?
Since I'm the sponsor for the gifts, I think that it would be fair if I gave my my gift away to the next winner. So please feel free to pick that person up. Thanks.
Sure. Thank you so much, Kristin.
Camellia, I'll do the same as well.
Oh,
Yeah,
you
okay.
don't have to, Justin. You don't have to.
That is a critical example that our experts still want to have fun. That for the gift they're going to find the okay. What I'm gonna do after. Okay, I'm going to see again the results, and then going to let you know who's the winner. And then feel free to contact me after. So that we can find the winner for you. Okay, so the most important part of the day, right? So allow me to continue so that we can stay ahead of the time, because I have speaking too much and I start to get thirsty. So right now, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to invite our speaker to join us in the next section. Okay, so having here with us today, if you can also turn on your camera so people can see you. We have first here with Mr. Clayton, who is the general manager of the Fusion Suite in Vung. Clay also Clay was a business owner. He also operates numerous different businesses in food and beverage in Australia. And I don't know why after all those sudden Southeast Asia so far from what I know, and he's now in Vietnam, so I'm very glad to have Clay here with us. And we also have our second speaker here is Miss Kristin Lê. She have a very interesting title that maybe she's going to share with us what she's doing as a Chief Happiness Officer at Pharmacity. But Kristin's also have more than 13 years of experience working for different hotels group, all the top hotels in the world, like Intercontinental, Sofitel, and other brands as well. And a very important speaker that we have from Australia today, Mr. or I call teacher Justin Louey, who is the front office manager at the Marriott Melbourne Docklands, and also a lecturer from William English in Melbourne as well. So for those who want to understand more about hospitality education or hotel knowledge, you can also contact Justin. Okay. I'm not going to introduce myself as well, just to save some time. For the panel discussion today, the good part is actually we have been able to ask you questions before. I'm sorry for those who do not speak. Can you please mute your microphone so that the noise will get in? Okay, so for the panel discussion, we have the chance to ask you the questions, and very lucky that we have been able to collect many different questions from our participants. And I actually want to divide that into 3 different parts of the day. So we have many questions that got to do with skills in hospitality, and we have many questions obviously got to do with COVID, because everybody is talking about COVID these days. So this is also very important. And the next one would be career opportunity. What are the career opportunity for me as a student, as an alumni, or after COVID, what I'm going to do? So all of those questions, we are trying to cover some of the most asked questions for today. And we try to see if we can still have time to spare for the Q&A, so that you can also ask us some direct questions. All right. So the first part that we have here got to do with skills. The question that I have for skill here, the first question is direct to Mr. Justin. Justin, there's a question here that we wanted to ask you. There's somebody say that my major is not hospitality. Can I still work in the hospitality industry?
So I guess the answer to that is absolutely. What we find in the I guess talking from a hotel perspective, what we find is when you look at a hotel, the things that you see as a consumer is the front desk, the person making the coffee, all those sorts of things. However, there's so many things within a hotel operation, so many different functions, whether it be finance, business development, human resources. So what we find is a lot of people studying those sorts of areas can find themselves can find a way into the hospitality industry as well. One of the other things that I observe is people who go out and do those different majors and do actually have a substantial career in something like accounting, or they're a lawyer for a while, and then halfway through their career journey they decide to jump into something new. And I know particularly in Melbourne there's a huge coffee culture, and I'm sure if you talk to a lot of the baristas around Melbourne, hospitality is not where they started in. They probably studied something else. But because the industry is so dynamic, and the culture's so unique, and the experience is so varied, we find a lot of people sort of drift into the industry as well. So yeah, absolutely, you don't have to study hospitality to work in the industry.
Thank you so much, Justin. I hope that would answer many actually the question asked by many people as well who want to be part of the hospitality industry. Okay, the next question that I have actually direct to speaker Kristin. Kristin, can you share with us if you think if it is worthy to work in this industry? What are the benefits and challenges?
Thank you for whoever sent the question through. It definitely is worthwhile to be in the industry, because if it wasn't, then I wouldn't have been in hospitality in hotels and resorts for 13, 14 years before my appointment as Chief Happiness Officer at Pharmacity. The benefits and challenges, I'll go for the benefits first. Being a hotelier, you just cannot predict who your guests will be and what relationships they and what they can bring to you. So it can start off as just a relationship as a guest and a hotelier, and then later on it might turn into professional network. You can become friends even. So that's one of the benefits that I find throughout the years working in hospitality. The second one I would say is that being a hotelier and also being a guest in hotels and resorts, you just learn from the guest perspective what you should do and what you should not do as a hotelier whenever you are on the job. And it's just such a rewarding career to be in, because anytime you manage to turn an unhappy guest to a happy guest, it just really brightens your day up. exactly how I feel. Obviously, the job does come with a lot of challenges. One of the first things that a lot of you have experienced or will be experiencing soon is that the hours and the shifts. But the bright side of it that I find is that when I was still working in different shifts, whenever people were working, I got to go on a holiday at a much cheaper price and a much quieter resort. So I found that to be quite an actual benefit, turned, you know, from a challenge of working in hospitality. And the other two things that are kind of relevant is that the art of how to not say no to your guests. So you really have to learn this over the years. At first, you might find it very difficult to say no to your guests, or to not say no to your guests, I'm sorry. And also to not say that your guest is wrong, because they are never wrong, even though they are so wrong. But you learn the art, and you become an artist on that part over the years. So I hope that answered the question.
Thank you, Justin, and thank you, Kristin. I think the next question also very interesting. Okay, I want to ask Mr. Clayton. Somebody said that I am an introvert. Can I still work in this industry? What is your opinion about this?
Okay, good morning, everybody. Thank you for the opportunity to join today. Well, I'm an introvert, so the answer is yes. We're naturally one way or the other. Your career doesn't have to depend on it. If you look across the hotel industry, you'll find a general trend of departments that suit particular personality traits. For example, finance could generally be an introverted department, and sales would be an extroverted department. But that it doesn't have to be that way. I know some outstanding salespeople that are introverted, but they know how to change their approach or their style to suit the situation. I worked for a previous GM who was a great GM, and I thought he was an extreme introvert. He was a great public speaker and a strong networker. He was actually the opposite outside of work. He was an extreme introvert. So it's a good example that you can switch between the two. There's times where an introvert will have to push themselves into the scary extrovert zone at work, and this can be done. You just have to step outside of your comfort zone. The more you do it, the less stressful it becomes. So the answer is yes, introverted or extroverted, it doesn't matter. As long as you're passionate, driven, you're committed to doing your job well, then that is much more important to achieving a successful career.
Thank you, Clay. I think the answer is pretty much very accurate from what we see, and I have heard some of the keywords from what he said. It's actually introvert or extrovert, it doesn't really matter. That's what you think, and sometimes what you might have to do is to change the approach into things. So whether you are introvert or extrovert, so to get the job done, and very important that we are passionate about the job. Kristin, what do you think about this? Are you an introvert or extrovert?
I think Clay just answered the question for me, really. Also, for me, I am an introvert, and personally, I really am, and I still am after that many years being in the industry. But you do switch the one side of yourself off whenever you are. So basically, at work, because of the job itself, I have to be an extrovert for my job. But as soon as I step out of the hotel or step out of the office, I just switch back into, an introvert all over again. And as strange as it sounds, at work, you are surrounded by people all the time. But when you switch back to your personal life, you just kind of, put this barrier back and just want to be all by yourself. And it's you learn to switch, but yeah, it's definitely possible. It was possible for me all those years. It will be possible for you if you are an introvert. So yeah, I wouldn't say it's impossible.
Thank you. All right. I think that will give a lot of encouragement to those who think themselves as an introvert to see that all of our experts today, and maybe I'm not sure if Justin also see himself an introvert as well, but maybe 2 out of 3 already confess that they are own introvert and still be able to achieve very high position in the industry. Okay, Clay, I have a questions for you and need to seek for your advice. Someone asked that they want to open a boutique hotel, and what are the steps that you would like to give advice to them if they want to open a boutique hotel?
Okay, in my 30-year working career, I've owned my own businesses for 16 of those years, so I have a good understanding of the challenges of owning a hospitality business. If you ask me if I thought owning your own restaurant was a good idea, I'd definitely say no. But owning a boutique hotel, I think this has potential if it's done right. Some of my recommendations would be to start the business, you need to define the product. You've got to define it very clearly. Is it a budget hotel? Is it mid-range? Do you want to do something different, stylish, unique, or trendy? And then who's the market for this product? If it's a budget hotel, is it a local market? Is it backpackers? Is it tourists? If it's a boutique hotel, is it trendy style? So is it for international or business travelers? You really need to define these 2 points to get started, which is your market and your product. Make sure it's in the right location, of course. That will suit the market that you're seeking. Naming your hotel is also very important. Don't be too complicated with the name. Some people make the mistakes of going with fancy names or a French name that nobody can pronounce. So it's very difficult for people to remember, and your taxi drivers will never know. The name needs to be something that reflects the product. It needs to be easy to remember. You're competing with big brands, so you need to make sure your name stands out. So it's easy to pronounce and to remember. It's not just for your guests, it's for taxi drivers, transport operators, tour operators, etc. You need them all to remember your hotel and its location. You need to be prepared to be hands-on as well. Very, very important. A lot of people make the mistake of buying a business and letting people run it. It doesn't work. You need to be there. You need to have your finger on the pulse. You need to be working alongside your team members and understand their challenges and be there with your guests as well. Marketing, of course, very, very important. And you need to get your name everywhere. You don't have to spend a huge amount of money when you get started. A lot of your marketing can be done with minimum budget. And then I've shown about 10 or 12 people that same business card. So this guy, of course, that's an investment, but this guy got some good return on that investment because I his card to another dozen people. So try and think out of the box, do something different like that. Make sure you invite people to stay at your hotel as your guests. It doesn't cost you much to let them stay for free, give them a great experience. They're the ones that are going to recommend it to others or sell it themselves. And of course, everything is online now when it comes to the hotel businesses. So make sure you're everywhere on all of the OTAs, TripAdvisor, Google Maps. You have to be there because people are going to find you by searching for the location, not always the brand. They're searching to stay in a particular location. So make sure that you're everywhere. And finally, the most important thing that's advice that I give to anyone running their own business or leading any team for that matter is it's been absolutely integral to my success, is to make sure you look after your team, focus on their training, their development. You take care of them and they will take care of your business.
Thank you, Clay. I think I have just taken note on what you mentioned, because all of these are very, very important for us. So from defining who your guests are, you have to make sure your location, what is the name you're going to give to the hotel, and prepare to be super hands-on, especially that's your own business, right? Make sure that your marketing presence is everywhere, and you need to be smart in terms of investment or marketing as well. Invite your guests in, and he said that also very important, the reviews, all the review channel, make sure that they are positive by giving good service, right? So then you get positive review, and make sure that you look after the team, so the team will look after your business. So something that I thought very, very important for any business owner, not just hotel that own. And if I actually listed it out, I thought it was a lot of things, like where are we going to learn this on from? And people actually say, how do I know all this? Can you actually, maybe Justin, can you please let us know where can we study this sort of thing?
If I were to give my biased opinion, you can go to William Engels Institute in Melbourne. But I guess on the whole, around the world, there's so many great hospitality hotel schools in a whole range of different locations. So, what you want to, a few things you want to look at is the learning experience firstly. So, are you pretty fresh? Haven't had much exposure to the industry at all? Then you may be looking at trying to enroll in a course which gives you a little bit more of some hands-on skills, and something like a diploma at a particular hotel school or hospitality institution where it's very much instructor-driven. They teach you all the specific skills, whether it's carrying 3 plates or how to make a coffee. Very specific there. If you have a little bit more experience in the industry, then you might want to look at a bachelor's degree or an undergraduate degree, and which is very much starting to move into more of a student-driven learning experience, where you're able to start to learn skills like critical thinking and analyzing things based on your own perspective and viewing things from other people's perspectives as well. Otherwise, if you had already studied another major or were looking to extend on your current experience in the hospitality industry, you might look at a postgraduate degree. But beyond that, you'd want to look at the institution as well. So how well is the institution or the college connected with the industry? Who are the teachers there? Are they industry professionals? Are they academics? Are they a mix between the two? And how does that link with your learning experience that you're looking for? And then finally, the location. I think the location is really important where you're going, based on what outcomes would you like to achieve. If you're looking at something like working or managing a resort, you might look at going somewhere to study where there are resorts in that area, for example. If you're looking at restaurants or the cafe scene, you might look at a place like, for example, Melbourne, where there are a lot of cafes and restaurants and a huge dining culture there. So that way you get that exposure both in your studies and you're able to expose yourself to that culture in your your outside time as well.
Wow, that is quite a lot of information, Justin, from how we can study hospitality. But actually, bear in mind that hospitality, just like what we have been discussing from the very beginning, is everything around us. Sometimes, did you agree to that, Justin? Like sometimes it's like picking up every single friendly gestures that we can learn from people, or learn how to make a coffee from someone that for example. That would be a great way to learn. So it's step by step towards something bigger. Okay. Clay, there's a question for you from maybe somebody work in the industry already. They ask if a hotel restaurant should be run by the hotel itself, or should be run by an outsourced operator. What is your opinion about this?
This is a very interesting question. Most of my experience has revolved around food and beverage, as I'm very passionate about the success in F&B. In the past, there's been too much attention in the hotel business focused on the rooms product, and not enough on F&B. But we're seeing a dramatic change in this in the last few years. Most 4 or 5-star hotels have similar amenities, and they all have beautiful rooms and nice lobbies. Therefore, as hoteliers, we need to be focusing on the unique selling points, and F&B is definitely at the top of the list. If you're operating a hotel that has a generic F&B setup, which is a buffet restaurant, a cafe, and maybe a lobby bar, then these are outlets that hotels are very good at managing already. It's part of the standard template. We can find the suitable skills and talent in the market to make these outlets successful. However, if you're looking to establish an outlet that is an attraction to the hotel, a signature or specialized outlet that will actually bring people to your hotel, then I would say an outsourced operator may be the best solution. Outsourced operators they're more invested in the business as it's their money, and they will give that business much more focus than what a hotel management team would do. A successful operator, of course, or somebody that has a great reputation that will attract people to your hotel. They need to have a unique concept that will work for your market. Some hotels have really unique and awesome restaurants built and managed by the hotel. They start off really well, but things change. Turnover of staff, too much involvement from hotel management, turnover of restaurant leadership. These can all contribute to a drop in standards, inconsistency, and a general lack of ownership of that particular concept. A normal hotel buffet restaurant or lobby bar can be handed over from one manager to the next manager and will pretty much continue to run smoothly, but not a signature concept. It's not that easy. Signature restaurants, they require more specialized skills, highly passionate team, maybe higher salaries, fast decision-making processes, and a strong drive for success. And that's not easy to hand over from one manager to another if it was controlled by the hotel. So yeah, that's sort of my answer.
Thank you, Clay. Okay, we're going to wrap up the skill section with the last questions here, direct to speaker Kristin. What are the must-have skills to work in the industry?
Well, it really depends on the departments that you work for, isn't it? However, generally, I would say, obviously, communication, listening skill in communication itself. So really just be a listener. Don't just hear it out, but listen to people. That's one of the very, very important skills. The second thing I would say is multiple tasking. Don't just, if you are working at the front desk, don't just be a receptionist. That's one of the things that I have not seen so much in Vietnam since I returned back in 2015. People tend to really just stay at where their job role is. But in the past, when I first entered the industry, I had to do valet parking, I had to do luggage, I had to do, check in, check out. I had to play with the switchboard, having hundreds of calls in every day. And you just really developed your skills doing multiple things at the same time under the same role. Don't take things personally. That's one of the very important skills being a hotelier, and you will develop that over the time, or in another way of saying it is resilience. The other two skills I would say is cultural awareness, because we work in hospitality, we deal with different cultures all the time. Be respectful towards cultural awareness for everyone around us. So that has to do with language, that has to do with behaviors, etc. Everything to do with culture. And also, especially for those who want to work in 5-star luxury resorts and hotels, attention to details. Do pay attention to every single detail that you can possibly do. For me, I often make a joke that I have OCD because of how much attention I do pay to details around me, even at home. It does kind of frustrate people living with you, but it's a very, very important skill that you need to have, especially working in luxury environments.
Thank you, Kristin. Now we know that to become a successful hotelier, we all need to become OCD in a way. So maybe like, I'm not sure, maybe in the future, we need to run a research to see what is the percentage of people in the hospitality have OCD as a symptom. All right. Okay, please allow me to move to the next discussion with more on the COVID update that many participants actually have questions to our speakers today. The first question that we have here for Mr. Clayton is, what are the changes have been made to your hotel in terms of operation or SOPs during and after COVID?
Okay, so post-COVID, there'd be a lot of focus on touchless services. Many hotels are implementing this now. The technology for full touchless experience is already available. You can check in and check out of hotels without dealing with a staff member. You can also order F&B from other services from your smartphones. It will take time for hotels to install many of these features, and there's a lot of financial investment involved. But then there's the other side of the coin. This is taking away the people experience, and some people won't be happy with that. They still want that interactivity with people when they come to our hotel. So it'll be interesting to see which hotels do what, and you know, the personalized experience is so important. So how we do that with technology is going to be a challenge. I'm really not sure where we're going to end up post-COVID. I hope that we don't replace our people with technology, as it's against the core of what hospitality is all about. We're a people business, so I think let's watch this space and see what happens.
Thank you, Clay. Okay, let's just talking about technology to replace people. That's kind of scary for us to think about, right? But Kristin, do you think it's going to be something that we need to fear, right, for now? Like, do you think that robot would somehow replace human in the future when contactless is required for COVID prevention?
Okay, let me walk you back to my experience working at Intercontinental Da Nang Sun Peninsula. I'm sure that a lot of you have heard of the property and how beautiful it is. I was in charge of a team of about 50-60 butlers who were to take care of our villas, penthouses, and top payer clients. Now those top payer clients, they pay for the service, the human service. Having a personal butler being with them the whole time they were staying with us. So from, you know, unpacking the luggages, packing the luggages, and dining experience, etc. So how do you, do you think that Robert would be able to do all of that, those services for the guests? I don't see that happen. I really don't see that. And like Clay said earlier, it's the industry is really about the people experience, right? So yes, this question was raised in one of the events that I was a guest speaker some years ago. It must be 3 or 4 years ago. Some parents were really concerned about robots, you know, taking over the industry, and their children, by the time they graduated, they would end up with no job. But first of all, I don't see that happening anytime soon. Yes, we can digitalize the check-in process, but then the people the experience, you know, having the service delivered by experienced hoteliers is something that I don't believe can be replaced by any, you know, even the smartest robots. And yeah, I wouldn't say it will not, because I can't see the future, but I don't see it happening anytime soon. So yeah.
Thank you, Kristin. So maybe we still be able to maintain our job for longer while, since we don't see. What about you, Justin? What do you think of the future of technology in hotel and restaurant after COVID? From Australia right now, when you are there, and any difference compared to what we have here?
I think what COVID has done, and I'm probably echoing what Clay and Kristin's been saying as well, but COVID's been sort of forced hotels, restaurants, the hospitality industry in general to innovate. And it's also forced consumers to accept some of the new technology in place as well. One of the interesting ones, particularly in this part of the world, QR codes were something that have been here for years. They've been around for years, but they haven't had a huge uptake in the mainstream outside of Asia. But since COVID's begun, there's a QR code in everywhere you look. Everywhere you look, there's a QR code, whether it be for contactless ordering, to look at a menu, to check in somewhere, to look at some information. The QR code's everywhere. The future of technology, things like mobile check-in, mobile key. There's some of the things that have been in the works for a while in many of the larger chains, but are starting to get sort of fast tracked through in response to that sort of contactless service. But at the same time, people are still that heart of hospitality. So people are still going to be playing that crucial role in engaging with guests, customers, and creating that service or that hospitality experience. Creating those feelings that robots can't really do. So technology will continue to be a part of hospitality and service delivery, particularly with specific tasks like a check-in or ordering food. But the conversations and the engagements, that's still going to be the people at the heart of it.
Yeah. Thank you, Justin. I think that is the main point, right? At the heart of the industry, still human contact is something extremely important for us. For the last questions that we have regarding the COVID related question is for Clay. How do the hotels survive during COVID-19, and what do you do differently to stay competitive?
Well, it's very different for every hotel. Some hotels have had to close. Some have stayed open and tried to follow strict hygiene practices. Some have become official quarantine hotels, and some are doing okay and some are not doing so well. Many have suspended their staff or kept staff on with reduced salaries. For our particular hotel here, we have a small amount of long stay guests, which has kept the hotel open. So we're lucky in that respect. But we can only keep a minimum amount of staff, so we've suspended most of our staff, and this existing staff working at the moment are working on reduced salaries. It's a challenging time for all of us. As we originally thought this was only going to happen for a few weeks, none of us estimated how big this was and how long this crisis was going to last for. But still, it's still a very fluid situation, and our operation and business decisions are made on a weekly basis now. We can't plan any more than a week in advance at the moment. Of course, we have our reopening plans, and we're looking forward to putting them into action. But we're not sure when that will happen. So, but hopefully, it's going to be soon.
Yeah. Thank you so much, because COVID is actually very unpredictable. That if we really know, then it wouldn't have to come into discussion for today. Okay, so we have just wrapped up our second discussion with regards to COVID update, and I'm just moving to the last one that probably going to take you another 15 minutes longer than we expected with us. The list of questions here that we have regarding the career opportunity. Okay, so I'm gonna start first with Kristin to ask the question here. What are the requirements to get an internship in a 5-star hotels, and which departments of the hotel can I apply for internship?
Which departments can you apply for an internship? Any department, really. Any departments that exist in a hotel or in a resort. The requirements as a freshly graduate student, I would say attitude and willingness to really just get into the job and just present to the interviewers how you would treat your guests. Like, treat me as an interviewer, how you would treat your guests. Make me feel, just get me feel how you would treat how you would treat your clients or how you would deliver the experience to the guests. Because obviously you haven't worked in the industry before, so you really need to learn the professional skills, but the attitude and the willingness and whatever the skills that you have already got in hand, just present it to me as an interviewer.
Wow, okay, so show the attitude and willingness, and that would be
Yes.
something, yeah.
Exactly.
I think maybe there's no rocket science here, right?
No, and I tell you this, I mean, I interviewed so many students in the past coming from very, very beautiful, education background. And and on so many occasions, I experienced the very awkward vibe in my office. I saw no smile, I saw no willingness, nothing whatsoever. I wasn't too sure if it was because they were too stressed out, but whatever, no matter how much I tried to get a smile out of them or to get, the hospitality vibe out of them, I just could not break just could not break that open. And that itself really made me feel that if they treated, if the hospitality to me was like that, how would my guests feel? And that uncomfortable feeling really put a stop on me saying yes to that student and the internship. So yes, it is nervous for the first couple of interviews in your life, but just go in, give them your big smiles and just the attitude of you are ready and you are willing to give it all you have, your youth and your passion and everything. So yeah, that's how I started, and that's how you should start as well.
Thank you, Kristin. That is a very valuable information that we have for all those who are actually going soon to apply for an internship. I wanted to ask Clay some questions here that one of our participants asked is, I have seen that there are so many hotels groups that offer internship program. Which hotel groups should you recommend to intern?
From my experience, a little bit biased, I'd say Accor and Marriott. They both have strong structured internship programs, but I think you'll find the majority of the hotel groups have good programs in place. Something that I'd recommend, but some companies offer higher or better benefits to interns. Please don't base your whole decision on this. You should be more focused on the company you want to work with, not the benefits. This is not a time in your career to focus on salary or rewards. You're building your career foundation, so make sure the decision is based on how much you can learn from the experience.
Thank you, Clay. Kristin, do you have any thought on this? Which hotel group that do you think that you would recommend for the intern?
Well, I can only speak from the perspective of the hotel groups that I have worked for. So Marriott is very strong at procedures and policies. So you can really learn from Marriott group for those. For IHG, they are very good at guest relations, customer service. So that's something for you to keep in mind. Accor Accor is one of the hotel groups that currently have the most, I think the highest number of properties around the world. Yeah, so that will give you a very strong foundation for your career growth if you really give them your loyalty and your dedication. Hilton, I find their procedures working to be quite a lot simpler than other hotel groups. So yeah, it really depends on, I really agree with Clay that it really depends on the property as well once it comes to the experience of working.
Thank you, Kristin. Justin, any thought from you based on your experience?
Based on my experience, I guess I've worked for a couple of the big chains. So I've spent 10 years with Hilton, Marriott. Both are quite good, quite, I guess, similar in some ways. Hilton, yes, probably a little bit simpler in terms of their procedures and brand standards and things. Marriott's a bit more complex, a lot of brands. But yes, looking at where you are located or where you're hoping to be located if you're doing it while in conjunction with one of your courses. Have a look at the number of properties in the area as well. because once you finish that internship, you'd like to hope that you will get something beyond that internship, whether it be a role in one of the other properties, or if you're coming back to Vietnam, having a look at the footprint there and the different opportunities there. The other thing that I would look at, which is a little bit different, is culture. I feel culture is really powerful, and a lot of the different groups and chains even have different cultures. So when you're researching the different chains and the groups, have a look at what their values are, what their vision statements, mission statements, all of that. It can sound, I guess when you're looking at it, a little bit cheesy sometimes, but those things, those values and culture are really powerful in an organization. And I've seen people go into an organization, doesn't really fit, and they go to another hotel group and suddenly they do fit. So have a look at those sorts of things as well. And in your sort of decision when you're looking at the different hotel groups.
Thank you, Justin. The next question that we have here from our audience is, what are the career opportunities in hospitality in Vietnam and also Australia? May I ask Clay to share your information?
Sure. I think for hotels in Vietnam, there will be an increase in demand for guest experience managers as a specialised field. As not all hotels have this position. Many rely on the front office manager to look after guest experience. But it's such an important responsibility, and you definitely need someone 100% focused on the guest experience, especially managing surveys, online reviews, channels, guest experience training in the property, address ongoing complaint issues, producing action plans to improve scores, rankings. It's a really specialised role, and I don't think that's recognised in this part of the world at the moment. It's a very important one, so I think there'd be some good opportunities in this respect.
Thank you so much. Justin, any update from Australia? Because some students are actually in Australia right now. Do you think there are going to be more or less opportunity in hospitality in the upcoming time?
Definitely more. I think when we were looking at in Australia, particularly and Melbourne, particularly pre-COVID demand levels sort of triggered a huge pipeline to come through, and then we're starting to see that now with quite a number of hotels trying to open around this point in time this year, and the backlog from the 2020. A lot of hotels are opening this year and next year and over the next sort of 12 to 18 months. So all of those properties need people to fill those roles. And from my experience opening the Marriott Docklands, there is definitely a talent shortage at the moment in Australia. So it is quite challenging to find talent out there. So it's a great opportunity for those who are studying hospitality and are looking to get their foot in the door in the industry. It's a great opportunity to get into a major hotel group or a major hotel chain and start your career.
Thank you, Justin. So from our speakers, there are actually so many opportunities coming up in the upcoming time, especially after COVID, the demand going to be high. So we have the reason to be optimistic. Clay, can we ask you questions here? Some students ask if you can let us know if there are a job opportunity in sales marketing in a hotel, and how do they reach to that position?
Definitely one of the most important departments in a hotel. As far as opportunities go, obviously at the moment sales and marketing is not something that's active during this pandemic period, but it's going to be very active post-pandemic. I believe that sales and marketing, it's very different roles in a hotel. You're either a salesperson or you're a marketing person. The jobs and skills are very different. Many places consolidate these roles to save money, which is not a smart move. It doesn't give you an effective result. You will lack it either in the sales side or you'll lack on the marketing side when you try and consolidate. It really needs to be separate. So if you are if you're either focused on sales or you're focused on marketing, and then I think you'll be very successful.
As a general manager, what would you look for a salesperson for your hotel, Clay?
A salesperson, I'm looking for a a bubbly personality is the most important thing. Someone that can communicate with anyone. You know, you put them in a network group and they can build rapport fast. They're good at building relationships and looking after those, taking care of those relationships for the long term. Somebody that is passionate about the hotel and the product.
Sharing. All right, we are now at 11:40 and we're actually running out of time. We already 10 minutes apart from what we're trying to achieve. I'm actually asking our speakers right now to share your final recommendation, maybe for our students who are going to enter soon the hospitality industry. If you can give them any advice at all during this critical time. Maybe we can start first with Clay.
Sure. As you said, there's very limited job opportunities during this situation. You need to be using this time to invest in building your profile and developing yourself. There are many online training opportunities. A lot of them are free. Just Google some topics and you'll find some free training, and some you pay for. Personally, I'm on the LinkedIn Premium member, so we have access to all their training courses, and there's some really good quality material on there. Also, it's a good time to work on your CV, your LinkedIn profile, build relationships with key people in the industry that you want to work in. It's much easier to get into a new company or a job if you know somebody, you have good relationships. So you know, this is a time to be focusing on yourself and getting ready for those opportunities when they come up.
Thank you so much, Clay. Maybe the next speakers that we have, Kristin, do you have any thought on these? Any advice you like to give to the students?
I don't like to focus too much on COVID and this challenging time. So the only advice that I would like to share with you guys is that just use your opportunity. Don't be afraid to, you know, get the experience from F&B, from rooms and reservations, from every corner that you possibly can. Yeah, just don't hesitate to learn as much as you can, and you will appreciate them once you get to the management level. That's all from me. Thanks.
Thank you. Justin?
For me, yeah, absolutely. Just have some, build your confidence and don't be afraid to dive in when those opportunities do come about. Don't be afraid that, you know, you might not have enough experience, or, you know, you might not be ready or anything like that. Definitely, it's a great time once, you know, the industry, travel starts to reopen and roles come about. You know, don't be afraid to go for the roles that you're dreaming about, and keep up to date with what's going on in the industry at the moment, because you know, restaurants, hotels, tourism operators, you know, they're all going to be reopening soon. Travel is going to start to pick up, and they're going to start to look for people. So you want to be at the front of that queue.
Thank you, Justin. There's another question pop up for Australia, so I think you might be able to help. What is your opinion on Australia hospitality resilience in the near term, and what period of time can promise stabilizations?
Well, it's a bit of a like a $64 million question. But the challenges we have at the moment are borders. You know, we're going to find ourselves in a situation very soon where Australians are going to be able to go. Some Australians are going to be able to go overseas, but they're not going to be able to go interstate. So really, it's going to rely on getting those vaccination rates up to where we need to get them, so that domestic borders can reopen. And then moving towards, you know, this period of where we're going to start to live with the pandemic, and start to build relationships with other countries, so that we're able to have a little bit of a few places we can go where we don't have to quarantine, either when we get there or when we come back. But on the whole, Australians love to travel. So as soon as they'll get that opportunity, they'll be on the plane. So that's probably a major thing to keep in mind, and they'll travel wherever they're allowed to travel. So if domestic borders open, they'll be there. And we've seen that a few times when we've come in and out of lockdowns, where you if Victoria decides, for example, to open up regional travel around Melbourne, you'll find hotels booked out. People are getting in the car and going, straight to the wineries or Phillip Island or one of the many attractions in Victoria. So, people want to travel, so that's a great sign. In terms of the period of time, which can promise a stabilization, that's unknown, but we in the industry are pretty optimistic that hopefully we'll be able to get things back on track within the next 6 to 12 months.
Thank you, Justin. That is very important to us. And I have seen that Mark, do you have a questions for us, Mark?
Yeah, yes, I do have. Hi, everyone. I am Jerwin Baral. I am currently a student of hospitality management from the Philippines. So I would just like to seize this chance to raise my question. And my question will tackle about gender awareness, diversity, and inclusivity in hospitality industry. So we all know that the LGBTQ community is already becoming visible in different parts of the world. So my question is, would there be a possibility that a transgender woman, for example, be hired in the hospitality industry? For example, she will apply in hotels, resorts, or in any establishment. So will there be a possibility for her to be applied, or will she need to be in her respective gender on what she was born originally? Or do you think that gender has been the primary qualification before you to be hired in this industry?
I would give this chance to answer to any speaker who would like to take up these questions.
I could probably touch on it, Camilla.
Yes, thank you.
I worked in Thailand for 2 years, and it was quite common in Thailand, but Thailand's known to be very open. And it was definitely no issue there. I can tell you from my perspective and recruiting, it's definitely not an issue for me. It doesn't matter either way. I think it probably depends on the country you're in and the culture and what's considered acceptable and not acceptable. But to me, there's no issue.
Well, Mark, just for your information as well, and thank you, Clay. Me as a student in Australia, I actually have a classmate of mine who's a transgender. She's also from Thai. And yet she still be able to study, graduate, having a normal life, normal job, and be coming back to Thailand as a successful entrepreneur. So I don't think gender or LGBT or straight or anything that we want to label it would be an issue in the hospitality now these days. So I hope this will answer your questions.
Thank you so much for all your insights.
Thank you. Any further question before we close down? Maybe one last question from anybody? Okay. Yes, please, Valencia.
Hi, yes, my name is Valen. I'm from Indonesia. Thank you for having had this webinar today. I want to ask to Mr. Clay, if you ever thought to become a general managers now, and if we have a dreams or hope to become a general managers, are we have to really going to down to all of the divisions in hospitality? Thank you.
Thank you for the question. No, you don't need to know everything in a hotel to be a general manager. We naturally specialize in a particular area. You'll start your career in housekeeping or front office or food and beverage or finance, wherever it may be. And as you progress your career, you'll probably move into maybe another 2 departments as you move up the ladder to get that experience. But most GMs either come from 1, 2, or 3 departments that they'll know very well. And the rest of once you reach that general manager level, it's really about leading your HODs. That's what your focus is. Those head of departments are your specialists. They're the ones that know how to run their departments, and you need to lead them. It's good to have a good knowledge of everything that happens in the hotel, but it's very much a general knowledge. It's not detailed, specialized knowledge. So yeah, once you reach that GM level, it's about leading your leaders.
All right.
Okay,
Thank you
thank
so
you.
much. Thank you. Okay, so I think now would be the time that we need to close the chapter because we almost have an hour more than what we need. I just want to take this opportunity to say thank you to all of you today, for the participants who spent your Saturday morning to join with us live from Vietnam, and hopefully it would benefit everybody who's involved in this meeting, no matter where you are. I'm so happy to see many students here, and not only from Vietnam, but also from Indonesia and the Philippines as well joining us. Special thanks to all our guest speakers today, Mr. Clayton, Ms. Kristin, and Mr. Justin Louey. Just before we wrap up, I just wanted to invite everybody to turn on your camera so we can take a quick picture together, if that be okay for you.
Yes.
Thank you, Peter. Yes, please. If you could please just turn on your camera. Thank you, Peter.
I think some people are still in their pajamas, Camilla.
Yeah, that's yes, I think so too. So that's right. Okay. Are we all ready? Ali, don't see your face.
I am the one in the PJ. So to speak.
That's okay. All right. Okay, so we're gonna take a quick, maybe 1 or 2 snapshot. Nhi, you let us know when you're ready and when you're done, okay?
Okay, so count from 1 to 3, so let's smile together, okay? So 1, 2, 3, smile. Okay, the second start, okay? So 1, 2, 3, smile. It's done.
Thank you so much, Nhi, and thank you so much everyone again for your time today. And as mentioned, if you have any question, any recommendation for us, or any suggestions for the next upcoming webinar, please feel free to email us to our email address on the screen here. And we would be available every Saturday, first Saturday of the month. So our next schedule would be on the 6th of November, 2021, and we're going to have Hospitality 101 with a different focus on aviation, and Anli going to be our next speaker, and we look forward to have you joining us on our upcoming webinar, and hopefully with other activity hosted by the Australian Hospitality Alumni Network. Thank you so much, and I would like to end the meeting here today. Thank you.
Thanks very much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Bye.